Cursing Genes by Zuppu. Let me tell you a tale. I guess you could even call it a fairy tale. Not because of the guarantee fairy tale ending. No, I call it a fairy tale because of the story is about a fairy. Well, a half fairy. It mentions a whole fairy. Anyway, what I call it doesn't really matter. After all, it's not about me, but about a girl and her choices. Now, where to start? I'm guessing going straight to the night would be a bit confusing. Yes, you won't get the whole picture without knowing certain things about her origins. Maybe a brief introduction of her parents. Yes, that should do it. Now listen carefully so that we can quickly move to the real story. Ahem. Once upon a time, there was a human woman who worked as a gardener. She loved her job, which over time resulted in her being rather good at it. The garden she was responsible for was full of many beautiful flowers, all raised with care and gladly blooming for their caretaker. One day, an overly curious fairy found his way to the gorgeous garden. As a fairy, he's connected more to nature than humans, and therefore was instantly able to feel how happy the flowers around him were. Fueled by the amazement towards her work and dedication, he decided to introduce himself to her. At first, she was a bit wary towards him. This new acquaintance, as fairies were rumored to be tricksters by nature. But it only took a few visits from the purple-winged fellow for her to regard him more neutrally. Soon, they both realized this relationship was morphing quickly from almost strangers to close friends. They both enjoyed each other's company and would easily spend the whole day sharing their thoughts on, well, mostly they talked about flowers, the best fertilizers for different occasions, different options for luring, pollinating bugs to gardens, you know, gardening things. But for long, as an almost inevitable consequence brought by the numerous hours spent together, they fell in love. Initially, neither of them were sure how to inform each other about these fond feelings. After all, they couldn't be certain if each other would feel the same way, or if they would consider entering a committed relationship with a person from, well, from a different species. Not that it wasn't uncommon, especially among fairies. Humans, on the other hand, tended to favor their kind in most cases. Following several, occasionally awkward months, she finally found the courage to say what was in her heart. Needless to say, this occurrence led them to become an adorable couple. As the seasons changed around them, their love stayed and flourished. Some things led to another, And not too long after, they were looking for a house, a home for two of them together, and for their soon to be born child. Luckily, they happened to find a cute little house in the middle of the forest. There they have lived a cent there they have lived and currently live, still loving each other and their beautiful daughter. Hmm, I think that's enough about the past, for now at least. Let's move on to the night that will have far-reaching consequences for our darling half-fairy's life. So, choose carefully, as you will be witnessing this story as her. Be ready to become Gloria, guide her through the night, and stay safe, I guess. Mm, what? Suddenly, you were wide awake and keenly listening to the voices coming from outside. Do the voices come from the back garden? Yes, definitely from the garden. You quietly leave your comfortable bed in order to peek outside from the window next to the back door. As you can't hear the growling anymore, you bravely start to scan the garden for anything out of the ordinary. Everything seems normal, except it looks like there's something dark on the fence, something that glisters in the moonlight. What was that? Should I wake mom and dad? No, I've been causing too much trouble for them already. But I can't sleep without knowing what's outside. Maybe, maybe I can sleep better if I just check the garden really quickly. Yes, that's what I'll do. It sounds almost like an animal in pain. Was that blood on the fence? Maybe I should definitely go check what's going on. Is this really a good idea? Maybe I should take some spellcasting equipment with me, just to be on the safe side. Take a charm. While convincing yourself it's nothing dangerous, you stand still for a while and listen. The noises have stopped for the moment, so you slowly open the back door and step outside. You look around a bit, but nothing catches your eye, like the glistering on the fence. Carefully, you descend the few stairs and head towards the garden planks that mark the line between the forest and the garden. Definitely blood. Still wet. That that came from pretty far away, right? Stay outside. You continue to investigate the bloodstains while keeping your ears open. As your eyes get more accustomed to the dark, you spot a few blood drops in the garden. Blood drops that make a barely visible trail. You keep your eyes on the ground and follow the tiny drops. Is that a tail? A wolf? With a bloody face? It doesn't look overly hostile, but you still don't feel like turning your back to it. You stare at each other for a while. Somehow, you get a feeling the wolf would like you to pet it. Not really sure what to do and what's wise to do, you slowly lower your hand in order to pet the wolf. As soon as your hand reaches the top of the wolf's head, something changes. A familiar feeling of power fills you, and the wolf in front of you isn't a wolf anymore. You quickly retract your hand as you realize he must be a young werewolf. A naked werewolf under your garden bench. You stare at each other for a while. Feeling a bit awkward, you fetch a blanket from the clothesline and offer it to him. He silently takes it from you and with some effort manages to stand up. Even though the blanket covers most of them, you can still see some bruises and cuts on him. As well, and well, it seems like not all the blood is his. Not all the blood is his. Still, you don't feel that afraid as he only stands calmly in front of you. Stands and stares. Are you okay? That's none of your business. So you don't need any healing salve or something? No. Are you sure? Your shoulder seems to bleed a lot. After your remark, he grips his shoulder a bit harder while his face contours into a grimace. A simple salve won't do shit. If it did, I would have healed already. Do werewolves really heal that fast? I guessed. I guess at least I do. Somehow, he seemed kind of proud to admit that. Then, why aren't you healing now? Piss off. This is a werewolf bite, okay? So it won't heal? It will heal. Please don't yell. It just takes longer. Why? Why what? Why does it take longer? 'Cause assholes like to find malice in their bites. So, like a cursed wound? More or less. Yes or no? Why does it matter? I like breaking curses. What? Really? Are you really her? Don't yell. Are you the curse eater? Oh, what? I have no idea what that is. No. But you said you break curses. Does he really have to yell so much? You're gonna wake mom and dad, so don't yell. No yelling. Right. Sorry. I thought you break curses and already started, and that's why I can be in a human form. You're not normally in a human form? He weakly shakes his head. Only rarely, at least at night. Considering we did touch earlier. If it's not normal, You what? I might have weakened your not human side. So you can break the curse. Right, the wound. Sure, if I can separate your magic from the biters. Not the wound, idiot. The werewolf curse. Oh, but aren't you a werewolf? Yes. So, who did curse you? What? No one. So, you're just going to curse someone? I want you to break my curse, you fly. Fly? But you are a werewolf. Yes, but I obviously don't want to be one. And have you always been one? Yes. What does that matter? Then you are a werewolf, not a human cursed to be one? So, if I was a cursed or if I was a human cursed to be a werewolf, could you remove the curse? Probably. But you can't break mine. I don't know. How can you not know that while knowing you could if I was originally human? Because I've dealt with humans more. How? This forest is literally full of anything but humans. My mom is one. A human? You nod. But you're fairy. A human fairy halfling. You serious? You look nothing like hybrids I've seen. Sure you're not adopted or something? Am not. Every half fairy I've encountered had nothing more than pointy ears. Well, I don't. You don't what? Believe your mommy isn't your real mommy? Half pointy ears. Seriously. Like, isn't the ears the thing that will be inherited? So you're like everything else fairy, but not them. No. No, but I spot wings, and you clearly have magic. Isn't that like a fairy without pointy ears? I have more magic. What? Why? I'm good at taking magic. Hmm? Sorry. The only thing I know about fairy magic is that it works with nature, having some kind of symbiosis thingy. So how can you have more? Dad can't use nature's powers more than it lets him. dad? A fairy. Right, and you can take more power than your dad. Will take if I'm not careful. So, you can break curses by taking away the malicious magic? Sometimes. Awesome. So, why are you acting like it's a bad thing? Isn't it? I don't get how weakening others while getting more powerful could be a bad thing. I'm guessing you don't mind being in a human form. True. But if you didn't like it, you would be mad now. Probably. Right. So, you don't like your power because it can make others mad? And sad. But you can still use it, right? Yes. Awesome. But didn't you say you don't know if you can break my curse? Actually, never mind. If you say you can do it, do it. But just do it. I'm sick of this wolf shit. I I don't think that's a good idea. Why not? You can do it. I want it. Well, much of your life force comes. What's your problem? Can you do it or not? I can. Then what are you waiting for? Don't do it. Listen, I won't do it. Humans would probably die from those wounds, and even without them. But the Curse Eater. You are a werewolf, not a wolf and a human. There are no separate parts to be taken away. I take a wolf and there won't be a complete human left. But the curse. You were not cursed. You were just not in control. But I'm almost human now. Aren't I? Can't you just take a little bit more? You shake your head. But I will get to stay like this, right? You shake your head again. Why? You really just gonna... Why? You really gonna just return the shittiness and send me away? Seriously, you're a bitch. Actually, I've been training your wolf part ever since we touched. So, because are near, I'm like this? You nod. Fucking great. A little fairy can control me better than I. I... I don't control, just take it away. So, you can't take less? You nod. And you can't take away more, because there won't be enough of me if there's less wolf. Once again, you nod. Good end, fairy wolf. Good job. No one died, and you might have even made a new friend. And by the way, if you have any questions now, is the time to ask them. What or who is the Curse Eater? Right, her. Well, if you weren't aware, the rumor about her goes something like this. Deep in the forest, safe from prying eyes, lives an eater of one's desires. The power of curses won't last there long, as she will pull out what is wrong. Yes, actually, she's Gloria. Let's just say her powers might have caused some troubles, especially since she was a toddler, which might have led to her being a homeschooled and not really having much interactions outside of her family. She grew a bit and started to somehow understand the potential consequences of her powers. Her parents slowly tried to persuade some of their friends to spend time with her. They felt like she needed to meet and befriend others to better understand this world. Unfortunately, there weren't many volunteers. That is, until they discovered her powers and hardly that is, until they discovered her powers had hardly any effect on humans and massive effects on curses. And since humans closest to them lived near the forest full of beings capable of magic, it meant that more often than not, someone in the village was cursed. Slowly but surely, people of the nearby village started to trust Gloria to break the nastiest curses that had befallen upon them. But even then, humans regarded her more as a convenient way to be free of curses than a potential friend. So, as to no one so, as no one really knew her that well, she and her talents became a sort of legend among the forest folk. Someone was breaking their beautifully crafted curses, and all they knew about her was that she lived inside their forest. Strangely enough, these two different views morphed into one rumor, the first verses coming from the forest folk. Deep in the forest, safe from prying eyes, lives an eater of one's desires, and the later ones from humans. The power of curses won't last long. The power of curses won't last there long, as she will pull out what is wrong. And that's pretty much all there is to tell about the Curse Eater. But that's all from me, so I bid you farewell. Stay safe and don't get cursed, although now you know where to go if you do. Thank you for playing. Happy birthday to my dear friend and beta tester, NLI.